Shante's Corner, where we're here to encourage, support, and uplift one another. So today I want to talk about something that's really close to my heart. For me, the biggest thing that I can say that I didn't learn in school is how to advocate for myself. Being someone who's dealt with discriminations on multi-level, being a Black woman, being a person who's overweight, dealing with overweight issues, and also being a person that has a disability, I've dealt with discriminations on all those fronts. So when I think about it, that I know it was only God that got me through all of this, because that's a lot. That's a lot to know, to have to burden. And a lot of times we're not supposed to shoulder that stuff, and that's a lot of the problem. And to be set free and delivered from it, and just to feel that weight removed, is like a joy that I can't even explain. And I want to make sure you all know, no matter what issue you're dealing with, no matter what type of discrimination you're dealing with, even if it's medical, you have to know how to advocate for yourself. And I didn't really get that until, I want to say, around 2009. I dealt with so much, as far as even with, like I said, I've talked to you guys about, my weight issue as a child. Even though in a room full of people, I still felt alone. I just felt different, and being the only person that was in my classes that was dealing with a disability, and having teachers telling me I can't do things because I'm not smart enough. I can't do things because of my vision. I'm too big, and it's just a lot that a person has to deal with, and not even including things that you might deal with at home, family issues. That's even more. And so even that age, in not knowing how to advocate for yourself, unless you have family members that actually teach you, especially having a disability, physical or mental, or sometimes the physical ones that people don't see. When you're not taught how to advocate for yourself, it makes things a whole lot harder. Like, it's like you don't know what to do. I'm trying to even think of how to even explain it, because you just shut down. When people tell you, oh, you can't do this because of whatever, then you're like, okay, I can't do it. And so for me, it took me becoming a member of the National Federation of the Blind, which are blind people who are doing some amazing things, and even just, normal things that they think people who are blind can't do. And I was one where I was on disability because of my sight. I am legally blind, and so one of the things that people tried to sway me was not to go to work, because I would lose my disability check. And for me, I knew I didn't want to live my life just depending on a monthly check that I couldn't even live off of that. And even it's just living, waiting somebody else to give you money, and you sitting home doing nothing. That's depressing to me. That is so depressing. I can't do it. And like even the job I have now with the same company, but it's a different contract. I'm home, but I'm working. And to me, that's something that I always wanted to do. But when you're told that, you won't be able to get a job, or when you apply for jobs and you go to interview and you're, told that you can't do the job, because of your vision, then it causes you to doubt yourself. It puts fear in your heart, like, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should listen to what they say. And for me, it took me, like I said, becoming a member of the National Federation of the Blind, and having a young lady whom I saw myself in, and I was sheltered from so much, you know what I'm saying? And I saw that in her, and it infuriated me, honestly. That's the best way I can say it, because I knew that she would not be who she was called to be because she was hindered. And it's not that they're hindering, not, some of them are hindering just to manipulate the person, but sometimes they feel they're what they consider love is hindering you from stepping out of your comfort zone and going above and beyond. And for me, I had to break that cycle. That's why as soon as I was done with high school, I was out, you know. And now I look back sometimes like maybe I should have waited, but I really needed to figure out who Shante was, and I couldn't do that back where I was. Like I said, I grew up in a small town, and there was no way for me to grow. There was no growth potential at all. It's really just stagnant. Like I told you guys before, when I went back, that's why it was a confirmation for me, because it was just dead. Like, you know, people are there, but it's not a growth, a place that you feel is growing. It's very stagnant is the best way to put it. And that stagnant leads to stench, because you're not stimulating anything. You're not improving anything. You're just staying in the same old bubble. And I knew I couldn't live my life like that. I couldn't. I can't. I won't. I refuse to. And for me, so like I told you, I don't know if I remember saying it here, but I have a degree. I have an associate's degree in early childhood education, and I wanted to be a teacher. I love kids, and I love working with kids. And you know, kids are always curious, so I always get the question like, what happened to your eye? Why does your eye look like that? And I have no problem with that, but my issue always comes with the adults who belittle and demean you because they feel that you aren't qualified to do what you have been taught how to do. And I say that because both of my jobs, pretty much all of the jobs that I've had in childcare, I've dealt with discrimination because of my vision. The first job that I had, you know, I loved my teammates and I love the people that I work with, but I was definitely treated unfairly. And what I mean by that is I had, like I told you guys, I had a degree in early childhood education. So I'm like, I'm definitely qualified to do this. I love kids. I love working with kids. You know, I love planning activity with kids and just singing and having a good time with kids. And so I accepted a job for one pay, and then I get my first paycheck, and it's less than what I was told. Not just a little bit less, but it was a whole, like, I think it was like $125, but at least I know it was over $1 less per hour. And you know, they was like, oh, we couldn't pay you that much. We aren't able to start you out with that much. And so I'm like, okay, you know, and I love my mom. She encouraged me, you know, Shante, stay and work. And so I did stay. But when I found out that people came in later than me with no experience and no degree in childhood education teaching, period, and they were making more than me, that really pissed me off. And I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. It really pissed me off, because you don't do that. Like, just because I have a disability, you don't know what I've worked through. You don't know how awesome it is to work with kids and just see them learn. And because, like, I think that's why I connect with them so much, because even in your hard days, like, you're just being around kids, it can put a smile on your face even when you don't feel like smiling. And that really it bothered me, and I can tell right now it frustrates me, because I know that I wasn't the only one that has dealt with that. You know, no matter what your disability is, or even if it's a disability or it's just somebody discriminating upon your race, upon your size, upon just any random thing, you don't do that. You don't devalue somebody's ethic because you don't feel that they're worthy of making a certain amount. When you put somebody who doesn't have any experience above somebody who has went to school for this and has did this, you know, because we had to do it in the field. So I had been doing this, and you just devalue me because you think with my disability I'm not good enough. And so for me, that really put a bad taste in my mouth. It really just made me feel like I'm not even valued here, you know. And I'm like, okay, I stayed well past the point once I found out, because that like happened toward the beginning. So I stayed because I love the people that I was working with. I love working with the kids, and to the point where I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. So I went back to school to get my sociology degree. And there I was able to learn even more, you know, about advocating for myself and just how to be with people and kind of study people, because I'm that type anyway. I don't say much. I observe. And like I said, at one point, I even wanted a psychology degree, but after realizing I dealt with so much myself, dealing with depression, I'm like, I can't take on somebody else's problems along with the one I'm dealing with. So I just wanted to understand people, and that's what I learned how to do in sociology.